just do the same thing that I did, which is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, just do like a 6 hour feeding window and an 18-hour amount of fast. So 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. you're allowed to eat. But if it's 8 p.m., let's say, you can't eat. You have to stay away from food. Or if it's 9 a.m. or it's 7 a.m., just skip breakfast. People say skipping breakfast is the most important meal of the day because it breaks your fast. But actually, breaking your fast would actually kill you faster. So I don't know where they got that from. Fasting, by the way, just means you don't eat food voluntarily. So then, why does intermittent fasting actually help you to be happier? Why does it help your brain so much? One of the reasons is because it increases alertness, it increases your energy level. And how it does that, it increases your orexin and your dopamine. And both of those molecules actually make you feel like you're awake. When you actually feel like you're awake and you have energy, that's when you feel happy. But the times uh, being tiredness is also associated with sadness. If you think back to the times that you were depressed, then at the same time, you also would have just felt really tired and exhausted. Because like those two go together, depression and exhaustion and tiredness. In fact, seeing a guy with like eye bags, that's kind of the hallmark feature of everyone's imagination of depression. So that's one. And then another thing is that it also increases like the physical energy that your brain has. When you fast, you start using ketosis, you start using ketones, which bypass glycolysis and produce more energy. Also, you produce more mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, which also produces more energy in total. So it's like hiring more workers on a construction team, except this team will make you feel like happier. In fact, a lot of people who used to have depression, anxiety, ADHD, they managed to cure all of this just by fasting. And also cancer and herpes and Epstein-Barr virus. All of these things, they were able to cure it because they did intermittent fasting. Usually it takes like, I think, a month to feel the difference, but it probably takes only a week for you to really notice it. So then how do you do intermittent fasting? At least the way that I do it. The way I do it is, like I mentioned before, I do a 6 hour feeding window, and then I also do a 18 hours of fasting. So 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. you can eat. If it's 3 p.m., you're allowed to eat, you're allowed to snack. But if it's 8 p.m., you're not allowed. So within that time, you can eat. Outside, you can't eat. That's the first thing, 6 hours. And then the second thing is eat nutrient dense food, or at least take nutrients. So if you do intermittent fasting and you don't feel like changing your diet because it feels too much like a drag, that's fine. You can do that. It would still be very beneficial for you to actually do intermittent fasting and abstain from food. But of course, it would be better for you and your fasting, like the benefits would double if you actually ate like pretty sufficiently healthy foods. That would be eggs. I would recommend eating at least 2 eggs a day, and then probably more than that, which is like 4 or 6 or even 10 eggs a day if you have the money or something. But eggs are very cheap, anyways. A lot of people, if you're worried about eggs increasing your chance for heart disease, don't worry at all because that's just a propaganda made up by the American Heart Association so that they can keep you buying their medicine and you keep giving them money for medicine that doesn't even work. So yeah, just don't listen to any of these guys because they're either very evil and greedy for your money, and if your health is a price that they have to pay, so be it. And two, they might just be plain ignorant just like you. They don't actually know the real truth. So eat 2 to 4 eggs a day and then take B complex vitamins. And then the third thing is if you're a teenager, I'm a teenager, I'm 14, it's completely safe for you to do intermittent fasting. If you search up on Google, is intermittent fasting healthy for you as a teenager? It's going to say, no, it's going to develop unhealthy patterns with eating, so stay away from it. Again, that's propaganda from the American Heart Association. They don't, they want your money. And if your health is something that it's a price that they have to pay, they're willing to pay it. So don't trade your health for their erroneous advice. They don't care about you. So just follow my advice. All right. So if you're a teenager, it's especially important if you do intermittent fasting. Unless you're anorexic, don't do intermittent fasting. The fourth thing is a mindset. If you go and set out to do intermittent fasting, failure is not even that bad. If it's if you end your feeding window at 6 p.m. and you eat food at 9 p.m. just before you go to sleep, then it's actually still not that bad. In fact, if you feel like you're sad and you feel like disappointed in yourself for actually doing that and not having the self control to stay away from the food, that's actually a good thing. And you should actually be proud of yourself for feeling disappointed that you actually ate outside of the feeding window. Because just you failing at the correct thing already means you're better than the guys who are intentionally doing the bad thing. Like you failing still means you win against these other guys. So you're not as ignorant as other people. Your self control is actually probably better or got better from intermittent fasting. So if you feel bad about failing intermittent fasting, don't try to relieve the bad feeling. Be proud of yourself actually for feeling bad. And just like reassure yourself that you can always try again tomorrow. Try this protocol for at least 1 month. So if it's October right now, do it until the next November. If it's November 2 right now, do it until December 2. See you.